and welcome to episode 6 of Left Coast Gamer Chat. I'm Paul, and I'm here with, say something, Mark.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Mark here on the left coast.
Hi, I'm Phil. I'm also here.
Excellent. So, Mark, you did something really cool for us last episode.
Which was
you put our amazing images on the internet.
Right. I do so many cool things. I just didn't, I can't remember.
The list goes on.
Just kidding. Yeah, no, we put it on YouTube, so that was fun. I hope you guys thought it was okay.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. We'll keep doing it then, and as I do it, we get better at it, and so there you go. Check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, so we're growing. We're starting to reach out and kind of see where we can do some fun stuff with the podcast and look at different places to maybe go and do the podcast and bring it to us here on the regular feed. So let's review what we all did this time. And I think, Phil, you're up first.
Yeah, I was pretty busy this month. So it was the first weekend in September was Strategicon, the LAX Hilton, 3-day conventions they have 3 times a year. There wasn't much historical gaming, and in fact, I really didn't see any this time. Usually there's some, but that was okay with me because I played so much BattleTech. We had some BattleTech special guests fly in from Minnesota, basically. Some of the people who came up with the BattleTech tournament rules, and there was BattleTech tournaments. And yeah, I mean, so Friday and Saturday night I was playing BattleTech till like 1 a.m., which is waking up the next morning and bright and early at the hotel again. So yeah, so I had a lot of fun with that.
That's cool. Those are great days, right?
They are, and when conventions, I've talked my wife. She goes visiting her mother for the weekend, and I go play games all weekend. So it's a win-win for both of us.
Yeah, can't beat that.
So tell us about Strategicon. You said not a lot of historicals, but what other kinds of things did you see, and how many people?
I mean, the convention itself is probably 1,000 or 2,000 people easily. I mean, but most of it are board games and role-playing games and Magic and stuff like that. So there's a large variety of different types of games, and there's a small dealer's room as well. There were some other miniatures games. There's a gigantic 40K game that they play all weekend, and it's probably a 30-foot by 6-foot or 8-foot table that they've got, and you just see models slowly move over the course of the entire weekend. It's pretty amazing.
Now I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Was this 10th edition?
I've got no clue.
Oh, okay.
You do know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah,
very good, Mark.
Nice.
Yeah, I just looked. They had some gigantic Titans and stuff, and lots of little models, and it was huge. And these guys come from all over, and they do this pretty much every convention or close to every convention. I mean, there was some other historical games. There was a couple games of Gaslands. There was some of the Marvel and Star Wars type games as well for miniature games. Oh, I'm sorry. There was also Saturday. There was a big Flames of War tournament, and they had, I think, 8 or 10 people there for that as well.
That's good.
Did you see Richard? Was he there?
I don't know Richard that well, but I did see people that I know there. So they looked like they were having fun. They had a lot of great tables set up.
That's fantastic. Did you see any Frostgrave?
I don't remember seeing any Frostgrave. No, I mean, I didn't walk around too much, but I don't remember seeing it, and I don't remember seeing it in the program book either.
And you ran the event for
No,
BattleTech, right? No.
No, we had the people fly out from the Midwest to actually run it and stuff like that. So I just got to participate and play all weekend, which is kind of nice.
And
Did
the
you
drum
win it?
roll, yeah.
Yeah.
I did not win. No, I did not come close. It did
Wah,
not go.
wah, wah.
Yes.
You're an amazing BattleTech player, so there must have been some stiff competition there.
That we have some good people in the area, and the guy who wins is the guy who wins a lot. So I'm not surprised who won. And we actually got a bunch of people from up and down California. There were people from San Luis Obispo who came down. I mean, there were people from San Diego that came up and played as well. So yeah, we're hoping that we're going to make it a big thing and have more people from all over the state come now and play BattleTech at the conventions.
Excellent. That sounds
Well, we
great.
were hoping you'd bring it to the church too at some point.
Yeah, I need to do that at some point. But we're bringing other stuff to the church. So aside from Strategicon and other BattleTech, I've been playing a lot of What a Cowboy with some friends, and What a Cowboy is something that we are doing at the church coming up soon, and it's a nice little skirmish cowboy game. If you've ever played What a Tanker, it's kind of like that, but I think they've made some improvements in the rules, and I think it's a little bit better than What a Tanker.
And that's the
There's
21st of October that we're doing that.
Yes, the 21st, yeah, at the church in Studio City, yes. It's
Mm.
both What a Cowboy and Dead Man's Hand, I think, are both going to be there.
Yes, for sure.
But he also wants to, Dan is the man that runs it there, and he said he would love to have more people show up, even if you don't want to play these two games. There are plenty of space to like maybe bring out some BattleTech or something like that, whatever happens. But right now the plan is to do that.
Yeah, and certainly there's going to be plenty of figures for these games if you just want to show up and you don't have any models yourself. I mean, What a Cowboy, you're probably only going to have 2 or 3 models per person. And I think Dead Man's Hand's like 6 or 7 models. So
Yeah,
there will be plenty of extra posses available to people who want to learn how to play. And I
for
mean, I've
sure.
never played Dead Man's Hand myself, so I'm looking forward to that.
Now, can I play
Nice.
natives in that game?
You can. I mean, one of my forces actually is a bunch of
So,
Navajo slash Apache Southwest style Indians, but you could also do Plains Indians as well.
And about how many figures do you need to make a posse?
I think it's 6 or 7 is the most. I mean, that's it. So they're small. They're small games.
Well, that's great because I'm going to bring my little handful of Native Americans and see how that plays out.
There you go. That'd be perfect.
yeah, it'd be really fun.
Yeah,
But I do want a game of BattleTech from you.
I know.
So
I keep promising that. So one of these days, I'll got that planned, and I've been buying more terrain for it too, so I can pretty much do an entire board now without any trouble.
Okay.
and you don't do the hex system, but you can.
You can, yes, I do the straight miniatures where you have terrain, 3D terrain, and using tape measures to measure your movement and stuff like that. That's the way I prefer to play.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that
And
sounds
have you
cool.
played, Mark?
Never. I've only stood over someone's shoulder and watched them for a minute.
Okay, and I've played once way back in the day, like when it first came out, and then just never got a chance to play again. And then Dan played a lot, and so he knows the game.
Hmm.
But he played only on the hex system, and so
Yeah.
he was like, "Do they still have that? Because that's what I'd
They
like to play now."
the hex system's still around. The miniature rules is a new rule set from the last maybe 3 or 4 years or so, and it seems to be the more popular way to play tournaments these days. It's a lot more geared to the miniature player.
Yeah, that would seem real fun.
So I have a story. The HMGS PSW guys, they hold a hobby day on the second Saturday of every month.
Oh, cool.
And they were all playing, and in walks this woman and said, "Hey, I saw you guys advertised, and I just thought I'd come down, and I'm at a Disneyland convention for lawyers, and I'm tired of watching lawyers, so show me one of your games. What are you guys going to play?" So they played BattleTech with her, and she really liked it. She liked the idea of seeing, the charts and seeing how the miniatures actually make a difference in actually playing the game. So I thought that was a fun story.
That is a good story.
That's cool.
Okay, Mark, you're up.
Well, I saw you yesterday. We did a Bolt Action Open, which was great. We just had some pickup games. I think you and Luis did a campaign scenario, and Dan and I just ran a straight scenario from the textbook. I mean, from the rule book. You know what I do. And then, yep. And so that, and then I've also played a couple bolt actions. Other weekends we played some Japanese versus Soviets, early war, which was real fun. Again, the Japanese are real tough if they get too close to you. And then what else did I play? Just American or Germans versus Soviets too. So
So I love
lots
the
of
way
bolt
you
action.
just like zipped by that game with Dan. No
Hey, let's
details.
not,
Don't need
let's,
any details.
yeah, we don't need to get into that. I had a horrible game with Dan. We played, what was it? I forget what the scenario was, but you have to get your people into
Double
the,
envelopment, right?
yeah, double envelopment. That's what it was. And, did not do well. My units got either immobilized or crushed immediately. And then he was able to get all his units into my zone really fast.
I
So
love the way you're purging the memory already. You don't even know what the scenario was. And
we're just knock that right out. That's gone. That
I
didn't
mean,
even, that didn't even happen.
we're gamers. I mean, we lose up 50% of our games at least, right? I mean, someone's
Yeah.
got to win and someone's got to lose. So
Right. I
well,
made a huge mistake. I made a list of only
he
8 order dice, thinking I would go with more like stronger veteran units, and I should have playing an American unit with huge, squads of, I think they're 12 men or 11 men, and they have BARs, and it's just real tough. So
I like the way the game is balanced because you came on, you had a armored car and you had a Panzer IV, and he just had a little armored car and
Sherman.
a Sherman.
Hmm.
And yeah, that just didn't seem to sway the battle. It was more about the infantry and what the infantry were doing. And
Hmm.
because I remember the tank battle was sort of,
Yeah, we just shot
just
at
kind
each
of
other.
they duked it out, and then that was that.
The
Um,
armored car was pretty critical because if I was gonna make a move and go around his flank and just shoot up his unit in the forest, but he hit me, immobilized me before I could do that. It was
yeah,
all
no,
about the order dice pull, It was like if he gets it first, I'm done, and if I get it, I'm out of there. But
yeah, it's critical in that game to have equal order die. And when you
hmm.
start to lose order die advantage, yeah, you
Hmm.
feel it fast.
Right, and I
Uh,
guess sometime you'll have to give us a tip on your skirmishers. You like to use those green guys, I think, to make up for order dice, right?
right. And because if you just put them in some rough terrain and just go down, they're just like impossible to get rid of.
Hmm. Hmm.
I call them speed bumps. They just sit out there, and especially if they're in, in the backfield, just holding your flanks.
Hmm.
They delay long enough so that you can maneuver and react, or punch where you need to, and then
Hmm.
react to the issues that they bring up. But my game with Louise, we played the Elsenborn Ridge scenario. So we had frostbite. I had limited gas for my vehicles, which is kind of really cool. You get, for each vehicle, you add 2 to your 3d6 roll, and that's all the uh, fuel counters, they call them, that you can put in your vehicles, and you just divvy them up. And I just used some counters to represent, just some hit counters to represent that, so that I
so
could keep record of it really easily, and then he wouldn't know if I was at 0 or 1 or whatever. And
so
the
so so Paul, you were playing Germans, and that is a German scenario or something, or
Yeah, it's the Battle of the Bulge campaign book. So he was playing Americans, and he had no vehicles, and I thought I'll be historical, bring a Panther and a Puma, and just 230 251, loaded up with a sniper and flamethrower, just kitted it all out. But Luis, he's a really interesting player. He just kind of sat down and like, okay. And by the end of the game, I was like, I'm not going to win this. My Panther was still alive. My Puma got wrecked by the frostbite rule. You have to roll for every unit, and vehicles have to roll as well. So it had a mechanical failure, never even came on board. And then he just, he had tons of Americans. And they were all elite. He had nothing but elites.
did you run out of fuel for any of your models? Did your tanks run out of fuel?
Really close. Yeah. But luckily he kind of didn't go anywhere. he just kind of stayed in place. So I just drove up and then I was already engaged. I didn't have to like flank or anything. But that also was a problem because he was completely throughout the 6 feet area everywhere. And so there was nowhere.
It was pretty cinematic when you had that flamethrower going off on the objective and the half track driving through it. That looked real good.
My half track pulls up. I'm the guy that does the mortar of smoke. So I was throwing smoke down and he was, it never hits. So he places it. So he placed it so that he could move up into the village. And he was just saying to me, I'm just going to wait for that smoke to clear. Just wait for that smoke to clear. So I snuck up from around the building and I'm like, I'm hoping the smoke stays because then I'll jet through the smoke with my flamethrower and be right there. Did. Gave the guys 6 pins, 3 guys dead. Okay, you need to pass the morale check of, 2, 3, or 4 on the dice. He rolls a 4.
And then you ran out of gas.
And then I roll for my flamethrower, a 1. Bye. See ya. Had fun.
Yeah, critical.
And so that squad just camped right there and rallied and just camped. And the smoke never went away the whole game.
Nice.
And that scenario is all fog, so you only have 18 inches you can fire anyways. So like mortars, you have like 6-inch swath of target you can actually target. So It makes it really, it was really fun. I really liked the way Warlord builds those scenarios.
Yeah, so we got to do more of those.
We really do. That was really fun. And I think Luis had a good time, but it was a nail biter and we were both just spent afterwards.
So for these scenarios, are there special limitations on what you could take in your force or anything like that? Or is it much harder to build your force?
We kind of came into it a little late. So I just said, go build a force. There's supposed to be an experience for some of the scenarios.
Usually they have like a little list after each scenario, like
they have like a little force org build kind of thing. In this one, they don't. But I was thinking, gosh, if he had all inexperienced, he would have just had a sea of men.
Right.
That would have just been impossible to get through.
I know Easy Army sort of connects their lists to those campaign books. So if you can figure out the name of the list, then you can go to Easy Army.
I went to Easy Army and I found the Battle of the Bulge list, but
there you go.
And that was for German, and I don't think he used that particular builder, but it didn't matter to me because I much rather see less than a sea of men in front of me in hard terrain, because that's how it's played. You play a village in the center and he gets to set up in the village. And then it's rough terrain all around because it's also Board Ridge. That was the whole point of the ridge. It was just rough terrain. And so it felt really accurate, being a German and having these great tanks and then getting up and going, ugh. And the flamethrower going, bleh.
Right. Well, stressing on the gas and stuff makes it cool.
Yeah. And then flanking, I couldn't really flank with the Panther because he gets extra bazookas. Even his commanders can carry a bazooka.
Oh, wow.
I know. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be flanking.
How many bazookas did he have? A lot of bazookas?
He had a lot of bazookas. And so no matter where I went, I knew I was going to get hit by a bazooka, and he just pummeled the Panther with the bazooka. I just couldn't imagine that trying to dig through that. So it was a really fun scenario. We had a really good time. I didn't get really a good chance to talk to Luis about it, but
yeah, no, it was good. Look, good times.
Yeah. All right, so we have special guests then. Because we've been talking about this, we thought we would do a little after action visit. And so that, we keep mentioning Dan, we keep mentioning Luis. Let's hear from them. And so what I was thinking we would do is play that, and then we'll talk after that. What do you guys think?
Very nice.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, so we're here at the great church
St. Michael and All Angels of Wargaming.
And we had a great day. I'm Paul. This is
Mark.
Dan?
Luis?
We played 2 games of bolt action and tired ourselves out really well. So, any thoughts on that?
Bad day for me, but it was a great day. Anytime you play bolt action, it's a great day, right? But bad day for me, but Dan had a great game, so I'm happy for him.
The dice gods were on my side. Yeah, I was able to win my game. What was the score?
About 15-1.
15-1.
Yeah.
I just like to hear him say it.
And in our game, it was a draw.
It was a grueling draw, though. It was intense.
And talk about the campaign you did, or the scenario.
Yeah, so we did Battle of the Bulge. So we had, I had to have fuel counters for my vehicles. I lost my Puma to inclement weather, so I didn't need to play with that. And then Luis just hung in there. He just got to the objectives and just sat on them.
Yes.
And just was ornery and wouldn't move.
One move. That was my plan.
That was his whole plan. So we have a really great time here in space. It's amazing. Then we're going to meet again coming up soon, right? What are you going to?
Yeah, October 21st, we're going to be having an Old West Cowboy Day here. We're going to be playing Dead Man's Hand and What a Cowboy. But also, Dan has opened up, if you want to just bring an open game or a table and play, just let us know, and we can set up a side table.
Yeah, we had 2 tables left today, and so even though we build this as a bolt action day, my goal for this is to be able to, when we play, for people to come and play whatever they want to play, as long as there's a table available. So we only have 4 6x4 tables that can be used. Today we used 2, but if people wanted to play BattleTech or some other kind of game, happy to have you. So just let us know, and the more games, the better.
So what are these 2 new games? Well, they're not new, but they're that you're going to do Dead Man's Hand, and so tell us a little bit about that. So
Dead Man's Hand is a skirmish cowboy game. The Dead Man's Hand is actually technically the name of the town, and so you have squads of 7 cowboys. Some of them have pistols, some of them have shotguns, some of them, there isn't. You could do some mounted stuff in that, but I don't have any of those models, but. And it's a great game. You use 20-sided dice. Each model gets 4 actions. You use cards to see who activates. And then the What a Cowboy game is very similar to, it's a Lardy's game, so it's very similar to What a Tanker, in that you roll 6 dice, and if you roll a 1, you can move. If you have 2s, those are spot dice. If you have 3s, those are aim dice. And then I think 4s are something else. I know there's shooting, and then a 6 is a wild, and so what you roll determines what your model can do. I've never played What a Cowboy, but I have tried What a Tanker, and I've watched some battle reports of What a Cowboy. It looks like it's a pretty cool game. But that one, I think you only have 1 or 2 models, or maybe 2 or 3 models per person. It's not as big. But they're both small skirmish games.
And they're all 28 millimeter.
28 mil, yeah.
And they're using this great terrain that we have, so as you can see in the foreground.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to it's a very cinematic game, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Very much so. It's based on, though Dead Man's Hand's based on like a Hollywood cowboy game or movie shootout situation.
Good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
I won't mention who's who.
Right, exactly.
Do you
So-
play Dead Man's Hand?
Yes, a couple times with Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do the games play out? How are they like an hour or hour and a half?
They can be real fast.
I was fast, and I think I won both times.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
Wow, this is
Well, maybe
there's a
not.
theme here today, I think.
But you say we could bring cavalry? We could do like a
Yeah,
mounted?
usually you can have them be mounted. You're representing. They ride up, and then you'd have a model. When it dismounts, I think it can.
I have this scenario, I think it's called Bushwhackers and Jayhawks. It's set in Kansas, so the Bushwhackers ride into town and they're on their horses. So with that scenario, you can do it for sure.
So it's like Seven Samurai kind of in the
I
West.
guess so, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming to get the town. And
Yeah, for sure. It's always like that, like, a grudge or someone's new to town and so the townsfolk don't like them. Or, yeah.
Dead Man's Hand is really card heavy as well, because you have a hand of cards, 5 cards in front of you, and they have special rules that you can play to interrupt an opponent or in response to try to protect your models. So there's all these special cards as well. That makes it a lot of fun. It adds another element of unexpected stuff.
And is there events on top of that as well? You do roll events?
No.
Like in muskets and tomahawks? No?
No.
Okay, so all your events are known to you, but not
Right.
your opponents?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And so it's like, for example, one is, here's sand in your eye, or so you're throwing sand in the person's eye, so they messes up their shooting. But if Dan had that card in his hand, he could trump, or,
Yeah.
to block it out, and then.
Oh, I see, so they cancel each other
They
out.
can
Cancel
cancel
each
each
other, yes.
That's really cool.
A lot of ambushes.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. And then the repeating rifle has a really long distance, so if it changes the game a little bit, where you set that person up.
Yeah. And each model gets 3 actions, and the actions are you can move, shoot, aim, recover, reload. That might be all of them.
Yeah.
But you can do the same. So you could say, okay, my guy's going to shoot, 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 and so then you get 3, and each one there's modifiers of the dice, and
So do you have a chart where you say, I've shot 3 times with my 6
There's
shooters?
little tabs or that you put next to it. There's
Oh,
little
I see.
tokens.
Yeah.
So, but you do count number of rounds in your weapon?
Oh, well, no,
Yeah.
you shoot, so you have actions, so you only get 3 actions, so you can only get 3 shots, but your gun
Okay.
never reloads unless it jams. If your gun jams, then you have to
if
reload.
And
you
that
roll
must
a
be a
1 on the
die.
20
That
die,
would be
20-sided
a
dice to
one.
hit, then you're out of ammo.
And is a 20 an auto hit?
19 to 20, and not only is it an auto hit, but it's an auto kill.
It is dead.
And immediately,
Right between the
right
eyes.
between the eyes. Yeah.
So, for example, I had my daughter play with me, and first shot rolled 20, boom, my guy's dead. So
Wow.
then you move into the next scenario. So.
Yeah, and there's difference, like, so if you have a shotgun and you come up to point blank range and you fire both barrels of the shotgun, it's a +6 to the dice roll.
Oh.
And so if it adds up to 20, it's an auto
So it
kill.
doesn't have to be a natural?
No.
It just has
no,
to be?
Yeah, it just has to reach that number.
Wow. And so, Luis, you're the defending champ, so you're gonna be
No, it
the,
was-
you're gonna be the hot target.
No,
Take
it's
out
just,
Luis first.
I thought Mark's memory was a little bit faulty, so that's why I said it.
Nice.
And that starts at 10.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And there's a kitchen here, and
Yeah, yeah.
We bring
I always
food?
bring food for everybody, and then you can just throw cash in for a donation to kind of recoup that. But because we're not really super convenient to run out to restaurants with the way they're located, that's why I always bring food. But you can always run down to Ventura Boulevard if you want to and bring back food. Or ordering food in here, the delivery drivers get real lost. So, so that's always a challenge.
but there's a supermarket right down
Right
the
down the street.
road,
Yeah,
like
it's half a mile.
1 or 2 minutes away by car, and there's great parking, and
Yeah, it's an excellent
it's a
space.
really excellent space, yeah, so.
Yeah.
We hope all of you can venture out and see us. And we would look up on Major Wellington's site to find that?
Yes, it's
On
on
the
the
Facebook
events.
site.
Yeah,
And then,
it's
of course, on the Left Coast Gamer site, we'll have posted it there as well.
Yep.
Any parting words?
Just roll 6s.
Roll 6s, yeah.
Unless you're foobarring.
Unless you're foobarring.
You
And
lose a
don't do
bazooka
that.
team that way.
Yes, yes.
I foobarred and nothing happened, right?
That's right, nothing happened. He just went down and stayed there the whole game.
Nice.
All right, we hope to see you.
It was a great day of gaming.
October
21st.
21st.
October 21. You don't even have to wear a cowboy hat. You can just bring your models. Or we have plenty of models for people to use if you don't have your own.
That's right.
Perfect.
We have all the terrain, the models, everything. You just have to bring a brain and a hungry appetite. Cool.
Awesome.
All right.